Okay fellas, I had a bit of gardening to do today, so I'm a bit buggered and I only made up one thing today. But, I don't know. Put this one in here. I don't know whether the organism actually is crashing and we're breaking up the cells, or it's transitioning from another stage, or if that is half the problem. It's an extremophile that can go from either, dilute to really extremes, but it has trouble transitioning or something like that. But I have noticed something. I thought the colour was changing there. This is like this morning, about 6 hours ago, and yes, I think it's starting to get green there. So you never know how cyanophytic organism there may actually be starting to either spread, or it could be the pink organism converting to green. I don't know. As I said, we don't know yet. This is all new. And this one over here, you wouldn't know, would you, if you had a dirty sponge, whether you had this organism growing in it at all, would you? So, don't know. Is it just the colour of the sponge? Is it just my eye? I don't know, but we'll keep an eye on it. It's only early days yet, It's got to be at least 3 days, I would say, before we're going to get to see much or anything, if anything. So the question is the charcoal putting stuff into the water? Is it also taking stuff out of the water? Is it affecting the pH at the same time? So on and so forth. So this new one I've made up today is just zinc and aluminium. Let's see yes, it's still bubbling away. So there's no manganese in there. So we may be overkilling the problem, If you give them manganese, maybe they lose their red colour because they don't need to struggle or something like that, The manganese, instead of iron, is used to use their photosynthetic pigmentation. They're sort of, in quotes, chlorophyll. But the question I want to know is it going red because it's under the water and it's getting all the reactive flammable gas? When it's on the surface, it's oxygenated, in quotes, therefore it has access to 78% nitrogen in the atmosphere, sort of thing. So therefore, it switches over to not nitrogenous metabolism as opposed to photosynthetic metabolism. So in other words, it wants to make proteins and chomp down on meat, in other words, rather than switch over to a sugary diet of bread and circuses, sort of thing. So it manufactures sugars from the sunlight, sort of thing, under refractor. But then, of course, you've got to ask the question: where does it get the carbon from? Assuming it's actually making sugar that has carbon in it, or can it actually do something that There's some Russian people now quoting that some microorganisms can do transmutation of major elements. I mean, if you can prove that, what's to stop a bacterium starting out transmuting smaller elements like nitrogen into carbon, or carbon into nitrogen? Either way, I mean, I'm sure it'll be harder to do it one way than the other than most things usually are. But there's very few things that have an equal sway, because of entropy, of course. Because you're going from one order to another order, and usually one order is less ordered than the other, so it makes it a struggle to go in the opposite direction to more order, sort of thing. So because you've got to put energy into maintain the order, to create the order and maintain the order, sort of thing. Anyway, so I did that, and last night, I need a swig of this because, oh Jesus, I set these up last night. I put them on a slight slope, so the sponge is pretty wet down the bottom there and has a gradation up there. So I'll sprinkle the sponge with some seed. Whether the surface of the sponge will go green but the rest will stay red, then we'll know there's something to do with oxygenation, in quotes. And then I put this one here, so you can see there's a little bit more red down the bottom because we've got more liquid. Hang on, let's put the camera down there. We've got more liquor down there. Is the camera going to focus? How close can I go? Can I go all the way? Yes. Which do we want you to go? All the way. Or do I need to put it on spot colour for this other spot colour? I don't know if this is. Try this one. Okay, in, right in, right in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It takes about 4 seconds, doesn't it? Okay, I don't know, fellas. And then of course we've got the Sphagnum one. Have you noticed the difference between these two? We've got moisture on the surface there, no moisture really much on there. It's not really a hot day, but you can tell the difference already between that one and this one here, so maybe that's a negative. So maybe we'll get better growth in the Sphagnum with the red organism. Hopefully you can see some red organism down there. Go right in, I don't know. Go right in. Maybe I'm doing it all wrong there. I'll find out when I review the footage sort of thing. Maybe I need to go in from the side. I don't know, but maybe that's better. Close. Oops. Go in from the side. Yeah. It's pretty stable, but you know, if we have a really heavy wind or something, you know, touching the lens, I don't know, but it's worth playing around. I might discover something. Anyway, back to our normal. This time I've got General Petraeus or Wallen the colour focused, apparently. Anyway, and I've got seedlings in here that are still sort of micro seedlings. I don't know. So if you want to go from micro to Drosera gigantea, the most, wow, it's pretty big, fellas. You know, it's even bigger than the bloody thing down in South America. They have the Drosera magnifica. You know, it's taller than that, more robust. It's the most robust sun. If you've ever seen it growing on deep sand like I did at Canton Swamp, you know, all this Mickey Mouse stuff they're showing you off online, you know, it's just they're showing all this like this colourful red Drosera gigantea. I don't know whether it comes from the granite aprons or something, but you know, granite aprons is supposed to be like the soil is only like I think it's barely 2 inches deep or something like that. They say. I mean, how can you get a deep, rich, vigorous, you know, vital? What's the word? Vigorous, you know, I think I've already said that one, root system if you're growing in 2 inches. Though I have seen some pretty good Drosera binata growing on, you know, millimetres worth of soil. So again, it just calls into question this idea of, you know, what makes carnivorous plants actually grow, because, you know, they can do amazing stuff on very little. And hopefully all this maze work we're going to do here is going to sort it all out. And as I said, this one here that has the Glad Wrap or the polyethylene cling film, I reckon I'll get some greening there. So that might give us an in between what the charcoal was doing, you know. Yeah, so we'll see. So the polystyrene and the thing are both structurally ordered carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. No, let's get this right. One of them has only got carbon, hydrogen in them. Maybe that's the difference. No oxygen in, and the the charcoal is supposed to be pretty pure carbon, they say, but you know, I reckon it's got other stuff in there. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Nods as good as a wink to a blind bat. Or a stupid person, I suppose, you know, thinking, oh, it's charcoal. It's a form of pure carbon. Miss Moneypenny, it's just pure carbon. Yeah, right. Right, Ringo, it's pure carbon, is it? You think that one through right to its logical conclusion in the land of the most bushfires, I suppose, in the most regular and widespread, and with a flora that's diversified to bushfires over many hundreds of thousands of years, sort of thing, and also partly man modified. What do they call? What's the word for man modified or personage modified? To use Scott Fitzgerald's personage affectation, I suppose, or adjective. Well, it's not really an adjective, is it really? But anyway, nothing from this at the moment. I think that's the wrong. I think that's the wrong pathway, but you never know. And I've still got to make up a couple of more. I've got to make up a copper, manganese, and zinc, I think, and maybe See the way I figure it. If we've only got 28 seconds on the card, is we've got parts of the sulfur cycle we've got to investigate, and you know, whether stuff takes sulfur in, stuff takes sulfur out. As it does, do we get other sulfur compounds like rotten egg gas, H2S, trisulfides and things like that, sulfur trioxide, sulfur dioxide, and how these elements interact with each individual various component of that. You know, do they help take the stuff in? Do they